So it's, I think, about 98 degrees outside, but the heat index has us well over 100. It's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. And we leave to go camping. And it's going to be this hot for like the next week. So much fun. Thank goodness we do have air conditioning in our camper, but still, it's going to be hot. Way too hot. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. I wanted to touch base with you quickly before I leave on our little mini family vacation for the weekend and let you know what I read in the month of June. June was a pretty decent month. I'm pretty happy. I had a lot of books I really enjoyed. All of them, really. There's nothing that was not enjoyable. So I'll go over what I read, tell you a little synopsis about it, my thoughts, and we'll go from there. You know the drill. I don't even think, well, maybe we'll start in order. So the first one I finished in June was Before We Met by Lucy Whitehouse. This was part of one of my Book List Thursday videos. It was the pick what book I read next. This is what you guys voted, and thank you. Thank you, thank you. This was a really, really good book. At the top of it compares it to Gone Girl, which you guys know my thoughts. Just stop comparing books to Gone Girl, please. Please, because it's never going to be a Gone Girl. So I really liked it though. It is definitely a psychological thriller. This follows Hannah, and she's newly married to Mark. It was pretty quick courtship, quick marriage. They've only been married for a little bit, but it's perfect. I mean, it's like the perfect relationship. He goes away for work for a weekend, which is something that normally happens. And so she goes to the airport to pick him up, and he's not on the plane. And he doesn't come home for like another 3 days. And during those 3 days, while she's trying to find him first, and then trying to figure out what really happened, in that midst, she learns that he wasn't where he said he was going to be, right? So that kind of starts her whole entire investigation into who really is my husband, and why am I just learning all of this now? So very, very good. Definitely full of secrets. There's some twists I didn't see coming. There were some twists I did see coming. So overall, I think I gave it a 4 stars. I would recommend it to people, so I can't give it a 3. 3, I don't really think I'd recommend to people. So there you go. It was good. And this cover, I think, is really pretty. All right, next book that I read, I guess I don't know what order I'm in anymore. So I picked up Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is for the book club that I'm part of that meets at our local Barnes & Noble. Guys, this was so good. Definitely 4, maybe 5 stars, but it is the perfect summery, romancy, make you feel good kind of book. It follows 2 characters. We have Macy and Elliot. They were really great friends. They were dating for a little bit, so you learn about their past, and then you find out in the present they're not together, and they run across each other, and the sparks fly again, and you try to figure out, well, what happened in the past that led to them not being together now. So it does do dual time perspectives. It kind of floats back and forth. I think it's about every other chapter, but it's very clear. Like, it starts with now, and then it starts with later. So you know, no. Starts with now and then, so you know where you are. It's easy to follow. Very, very sweet book. I totally need to pick up more books by her because I loved it. Then I had received an ARC of Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. Thank you, St. Martin's Press. So I read this before it was released this month. I loved Behind Closed Doors. I loved the breakdown. This was okay. I don't hate it. It still had me guessing, but I pretty much figured it out before this big reveal. It was creepy in parts. There's definitely some psychological thriller aspects I enjoyed in this, but I feel like B.A. Paris is just, I mean, she hit it out of the park with Behind Closed Doors, and she just hasn't quite gotten that far yet for me. So I still liked it. I still encourage you to read it. It's still good. It just wasn't that hit it out of the park for me. And I can't even put my finger on why. I was a little annoyed with the main character for a little bit. some of the things that he decided to do, I didn't really buy, or I don't know, it kind of drove me nuts. So maybe it was just my personal interpretation of how the story should have been. Doesn't mean it's horrible. It just wasn't quite as great as I was expecting it to be. But I still enjoyed the book. I flew through it. I read it in a matter of a few days. I mean, it's a short, perfect little quick read. It would be the perfect, like, going on a short vacation or a weekend getaway type thing. You could easily finish this and it would keep your interest. So it would definitely work for that. All right, I did an audiobook this month. I read Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCreight. This book, guys, I now know what the hype was about. I really, really liked it. It follows Kate, and she gets a phone call at work. She's a lawyer, single mom, gets a phone call at work saying her daughter is being suspended because of plagiarism. And she's like, what? My daughter? She's almost the perfect child. What's going on here? So she's on her way to pick her up, trying to figure out what happened. By the time she gets there, there is a police officer there. There's a crowd, and they figured out that someone has jumped off of the roof of the school and killed themselves, and she quickly learns that it is her daughter. So then she kind of takes it upon herself to figure out what happened, what went through my daughter's mind, what led to this apparent suicide. It was awesome. It was very, very well done. I cried. I don't cry a lot in books, and I cried. This was a beautiful book. Then I did a buddy read with 5 other amazing ladies. I gotta remember. We got Shannon, Trish, Lisa from Books and Smiles, Laura, and Addie. My brand new bookish, wonderful friends that I met. We buddy read The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. By far my favorite book of the month. In contention for favorite book of the year. This was beautiful and creepy and sad, and it was just out. It was awesome. It was awesome. So I had an amazing time reading this book with these ladies. Highly, highly suggest you read this book with somebody because you're going to want to talk about it. This is so packed of so many good things. So this follows Fiona. Let's see, maybe we start. It really focuses on an old boarding school called Idlewild Hall. And so you're learning about 4 girls that went to school there in the 1950s. This school was a place for troubled kids. So don't think like hoity-toity boarding school. No, these are some tough-ass girls that are going to this school. But there's 4 friends that really become really, really good friends, and I love the development of their friendship in this story, their devotion to each other. That part is beautiful. And then it follows Fiona in current day, and her sister was found murdered, and she was found on Idlewild in the field at the school. So she's having a hard time, not really accepting it, but she's just thinking there's something that she's missing. And so Idlewild School gets bought by somebody, and it's starting to kind of be redeveloped, and she's very curious as to why. Then you add in the paranormal aspect of it, and there's a ghost. This school is haunted, seriously haunted. How those 3 connect, you'll never figure it out because it's so good. It's so good. I love the description of Idlewild. I feel like if I drove by that school, I could pick it out in a heartbeat because she does a fabulous job describing it. I love the friendships in this book. I love how things tie together and the mysteries of it. It's so, so, so good. I can't say enough good things about this, so definitely pick that one up. All right, so what am I currently reading? I am so close to being done with The Red Tent by Anita Diamond. I'm listening to this on audio. I have less than 2 hours left to go. I'll easily finish that up. Guys, we got a 3-hour car ride tomorrow. Do the math. It's gonna happen. This follows the story of, I think in the book of Genesis, they mention a woman named Dinah. This really follows her story. It's beautiful so far. It is the perfect historical fiction that I've been needing after reading what I've read this month. I needed something a little different. Really, really good. I hope it ends as well as I'm loving it so far. I have no doubt that it will, but it's a beautiful book, so pick that one up. And then I just started last night Always Watching by Chevy Stevens. I fell in love with Chevy Stevens when I read Those Girls a couple of years ago, I think. Absolutely loved it. And this follows Nadine. She works at a psychiatric hospital, and she meets a patient, this Heather, and it starts to kind of open up some of the past for Nadine, and she has to kind of face some things that she maybe locked away. So it sounds good. Guys, I'm like 14 pages into it, so far I like it, but it's Chevy Stevens. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. So that's what else I'm reading. Maybe I'll give you a quick, I guess, what's on deck. I need to read this book, The Day the World Came to Town, 9/11 in Gander, Newfoundland. This is a nonfiction book based around the city of Gander, Newfoundland. So when 9/11 happened, the airspace in the United States was shut down. No planes were allowed whatsoever. So some planes were close enough to where they took off, they just turned around and went back. A lot of planes, especially coming across to the Atlantic Ocean, couldn't turn around, they didn't have enough fuel, and they needed to land somewhere. So this little town of Gander, Newfoundland let, I think it was like 38 jetliners land in their city. Now, this is a small town, not nearly enough hotel rooms, and it talks about what the residents did to really help welcome these people who were facing this very scary day. So I'm excited to read this. I've heard great things about it. So that's on deck. What else do I have back here? You know, my usual I have to get through. On this side, I still have Mr. Tender's Girl. I still have Eleanor Oliphant, which is completely fine. A Court of Frost and Starlight. The high season, I don't know. We'll see what happens in July. I'm kind of very whimsical about my picks lately, so I'm really having a hard time focusing on a specific TBR. So that's kind of what's on my plate right now. We'll see what happens. Anyways, leave a comment below. Let me know what was your favorite book of June, or if you've read any of the books that I mentioned and we'll chat about them. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.